My boyfriend of 3 years punched me when I tried to help him out of depression. Should I break up with him? I meant to post this a year ago. He has been keeping his word so far and didn't abuse me in any way even after devastating events. We are still together and I have been working on myself professionally. I'm about to be settled soon financially and want to know if I should end things soon or give him another chance. I didn't grow up with affectionate parents and have a lot of insecurity. I didn't know how to be happy until I found my boyfriend, who always put effort into knowing what I like, giving me surprises, and bringing me to events. He is extremely smart, encouraging, affectionate, sweet, everything I want my boyfriend to be. He is my role model, and I love him more than anyone else in the world. However, he can also be very goal-oriented and extremely selfish sometimes. I would say 99% of the time with him is great except that 1% when he gets depressed, not being where he wants to be in life. He would start judging everything and everyone including me, especially when I try to comfort him, and say the wrong words, get too busy at the moment. He would start attacking me using my insecurities and keep provoking me, doing everything to hurt me so maybe he would feel something other than depression. When he gets depressed, he doesn't even eat and would sleep for 15 to 17 hours every day, skipping school work and just wouldn't give about anything. I would then have to put a lot of effort into helping him. Sometimes he appreciates, but sometimes actions lack care at the time which just makes it worse. He has forced me into sleep on the floor, poured water on me, left me at a gas station at midnight, and this year, he threw multiple punches at me when I tried to wake him up for work, pushing me away so he could keep sleeping. He has been skipping for almost 2 months. That whole side of my body was covered in bruises for 2 weeks and he didn't apologize for it until I tried to break up with him, saying I only punched you lightly in a fit of anger because you weren't understanding that I needed to be left alone. Now, he quit the program that has been making him depressed this whole time. He took a break and turned back into the sweet person that I miss and need so badly. He even promised that this is who he has been, the sweet and nice person whole life, and will never get violent with me again. However, I can't shake the image of him punching me. I also have a lot of problems and he has been dealing with, so I feel bad leaving him. Was it my fault that I decided to step in and help him? Now for the top comments. You don't seem to know what depression does to people. I have been depressed in the past, I have been to therapy, and I have witnessed teammates going through depression. Depression does not change your character, not like this. The important thing right now is to realize that your only duty is to keep yourself mentally well and physically safe. Regardless of whether your BF has been caring in the past, and that the abuse is because of his mental health, he's hurt you and is responsible for that. You can't help him if he doesn't help himself. So first off, get yourself somewhere safe, away from him. This doesn't have to be moving anywhere permanent right now. You just need to get some space away from his gaslighting and his mental health issues. Next, write down what and why you're upset, and the events that have been abusive and not resolved by talking as you've done here. Think hard about what you're in control of doing to resolve these events. You've tried to explain to him that treating you like this isn't okay. You can't change his attitude or his mental health. Remember, you can't control anything he does, only how you act and think. I'd recommend trying to learn about your own codependent behaviors and understand how things have built to this point. Check out the audiobook, Codependent No More. Abuse creeps up slowly, and trying repeatedly to help someone who won't accept your help is both futile and dangerous, as evidenced by the punching episode. He has used terrible and abusive communication to show you he's unwilling to accept your help. So you really need to stop trying to help. He can communicate to you what help he can accept, but it's not your role to do that. Instead, focus on helping yourself. You are in control of you, and you're not stuck. You've been manipulated. These behaviors are not okay or tolerable, so now you need to prioritize helping yourself. It's really hard to have agency in a situation like this, but laying down some hard boundaries of what behaviors you can accept from a partner is key. He has punched you, leaving bruises, and then minimized it, and made you feel like you're the one overreacting. You are not overreacting to feel upset by it. What would you like his reaction to be? Apologize and validate that it's extremely concerning and abusive? Go to therapy for his mental health and abusive tendencies? Go to couples therapy to discuss the incidents? What boundaries of behavior are you going to put in place as a result of his abuse, and what is he willing to do to make sure it both never happens again, and that he builds trust with you? If he can't do those things satisfactorily, or has a negative attitude about making reparations, then you need to follow through with the boundary and leave the relationship or live somewhere else where you can leave to safely. Please do not let this go and continue living with him in the current situation. It's really not safe for you. I'm really sorry you're going through this. Please know you're not alone and that your feelings are totally valid and understandable. This is a big deal. Next comment. This cycle will not stop until he admits that this is a problem and seeks external help. He will not continue to be the sweet and perfect boyfriend 100% of the time. There will inevitably be more challenges that make him depressed again, and it's up to him to find a solution. It is not your job to play punching bag when he's upset. I have major depressive disorder, among other things, and my mental illness, no matter how awful it's been, has never made me abuse my partner. Just really think for a second. I'm sure you've seen posts on here where you wonder why didn't she leave earlier? Why did she think he would change? Why did she think she could fix him? That's you. You should never have to put up with physical or emotional abuse even if he says, "Oh, I'll never do it again." I love you. If he truly loved you, he wouldn't do this to you, period. You need to leave before you're put in a dangerous situation or hospitalized. Next comment. I'm not going to tell you to leave because I've been in a similar position, and I know that if you're not ready to leave, then having people tell you to do it, and then not doing it, makes you feel worse, like you've failed in some way. Leaving is a decision that you have to make for yourself. I will tell you that when a partner is abusive, particularly when they're utterly unapologetic the way yours is, the abuse escalates. Last year it was forcing you to be physically uncomfortable, sleeping on the floor, pouring water on you. This year it was punching you. Next year, it will likely be choking you. Abuse almost never stands still. Sometimes it appears to improve for a time, and this adds to the danger, because when someone beats us, and then regresses to just slapping, or withholding food or shelter or comfort, or being verbally abusive, then we tell ourselves that this isn't so bad in comparison, but it almost always escalates with time. There is a very good chance that this man will kill you, either deliberately, or because he hits you or chokes you harder than he intends. Do with that what you will. You have my greatest sympathy, and if you reach out to domestic violence shelters charities in your area, they will help you to leave as safely as possible, if that's what you choose to do. None of this is your fault. None. But you are the only one who can decide to change it, because he won't. Even if it seems like he has, the chances of him making a lasting change are extremely slim. Next comment. This is abuse. Just read what you wrote and imagine someone else wrote this. What would your immediate reaction be? Run. I have been battling severe depression and anxiety, and I have never tormented or put my hands on anyone. I know others with depression, and the same goes for them. Don't use depression to excuse his torture. You are not his therapist and certainly not his punching bag or pin cushion. The stories you hear on the news, how do you think they come about? They are just like yours, maybe 5 years or 2 months from now, escalated to the point of no return. Those victims all loved and missed their partners. Their partners all promised it would never happen again, minimized the severity of the issue, and blamed it on circumstance. Stop gambling with your life. You need to Casper out of his life ASAP. File police reports. Get restraining orders if needed. Save your life. Take a long break from dating and start therapy. Next comment. I'm sorry to say that this is abuse. I have a friend who escaped a near 10-year-long relationship with a man like this, and it was getting to that point where if she waited any longer she probably would have never been able to escape. Years later she's still dealing with him, and is stuck with loads of debt from when she escaped. Normal functioning depression at minimum is just staying in bed, but forcing you to do things like sleeping on the floor and any sort of punch from someone is not okay. It's one thing to say that he slapped you once because of a panic attack or something, but multiple times is absolutely not okay. You're young. Get out of that situation even if it means going back to your family. Even if they weren't affectionate parents, I'm quite sure that if you told your parents about abuse they would swoop in to help.